Ahoy! Mateys, welcome back to Yousaf Reacts. Today, we're diving into the thrilling world of Pirates of the Caribbean, at World's End, released in 2007. Get ready to set sail on an adventure filled with treacherous seas, daring heroes, and legendary pirates. The third installment in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, at World's End, picks up right where Dead Man's Chest left off. Captain Jack Sparrow, played by the iconic Johnny Depp, is trapped in Davy Jones' locker, and it's up to his friends to rescue him. Elizabeth Swann, Keira Knightley, Will Turner, Orlando Bloom. And the crew must form an uneasy alliance with Captain Barbossa, Geoffrey Rush, to navigate through treacherous waters and face the East India Trading Company, led by the ruthless Lord Cutler Beckett. One of the highlights of At World's End is its incredible special effects and breathtaking action sequences. From epic sea battles to the stunning maelstrom scene, the visual spectacle is nothing short of impressive. But it's not just about the action. The film also delves into themes of loyalty, sacrifice, and the quest for freedom. We see complex character developments, especially with Jack Sparrow, whose unpredictable nature keeps everyone on their toes. And let's not forget the unforgettable music score by Hans Zimmer, which perfectly captures the swashbuckling spirit of the film. Will Turner, Elizabeth Swann, Hector Barbossa, and the crew of the Black Pearl try and rescue Jack from Davy Jones' locker and prepare to fight Lord Cutler Beckett, who controls Davy Jones and the Flying Dutchman. After losing Jack Sparrow to the locker of Davy Jones, the team of Will Turner, Elizabeth Swann, and Captain Barbossa make their final alliances with the pirate world to take on the forces of Lord Cutler Beckett and his crew, including Davy Jones, who he now has control over. It's not going to be easy, as they must rescue Sparrow, convince all the pirate lords to join them, and defeats Beckett, whilst each individual pirate has their own route which they wish to follow. To increase his and the East India Trading Company's power in the Caribbean, Lord Cutler Beckett, Tom Hollander, executes anyone, including women and children, suspected of or remotely associated with piracy. Beckett, who now possesses Davy Jones's heart, orders Jones Bill Nighy to destroy all pirate ships. Condemned prisoners defiantly sing a song to summon the 9 pirate lords comprising the 4th Brethren Court to convene at Shipwreck Cove and take action against Beckett. However, Captain Jack Sparrow, Johnny Depp, Pirate Lord of the Caribbean, never appointed his successor, and therefore must attend. Captain Barbossa, Geoffrey Rush leads Will Orlando Bloom, Elizabeth Keira Knightley, Tia Dalma, Naomi Harris, and Black Pearl crewmen to rescue Jack. Sao Feng Chow Yun Fat, Pirate Lord of the South China Sea and residing in Singapore, possesses a map to World's End, the gateway to Davy Jones' locker, where Jack is eternally imprisoned. Elizabeth and Barbossa bargain with Feng for the map and a ship, but Feng is furious that Will already attempted to steal it. The British Royal Navy, led by Mercer David Schofield, acting under orders from Beckett, make a surprise attack on Feng's bathhouse. During the ensuing chaos, Will strikes a bargain with Feng for the Black Pearl in exchange for Sparrow, who Feng wants to turn over to Beckett, presumably for immunity from Davy Jones' attacks on pirates. Will wants the Black Pearl to rescue his father from the Flying Dutchman. The crew journey through a frozen sea and sail over an enormous waterfall into the locker. Sparrow, trapped aboard the Pearl, constantly hallucinates about an entire crew comprising himself, each representing a different facet of his character. When the Pearl is mysteriously carried to an ocean shore by crab-like creatures presumably sent by Tia Dalma. Since she is seen stroking a crab as the ship moves, Jack is reunited with his old shipmates. He is initially reluctant to rejoin a crew which includes the 4 people who once attempted to kill him, with one Elizabeth succeeding. As the Black Pearl crew seek an escape route, dead souls are seen floating by underwater. Tia Dalma reveals that Davy Jones was appointed by Calypso, goddess of the sea, and his lover, to ferry the dead to the next world. In return, Jones was allowed to step upon land for 1 day every 10 years to be with his love. But when she failed to meet him, The scorned captain abandoned his duty and transformed into a monster. Elizabeth sees her father, Governor Weatherby Swann's Jonathan Pryce soul pass by in a boat. Murdered by Cutler Beckett after Swann became suspicious about the heart. Swann reveals that whoever stabs Joan's heart becomes the Flying Dutchman's immortal captain. A distraught Elizabeth vows revenge. The Black Pearl remains trapped in the locker until Sparrow deciphers a clue on the map. Realizing the ship must be capsized to return to the living world. The ship is overturned at sunset and upturns back into the living world as the sun rises. A green flash marks their return. The crew stop at a small island to restock supplies. They find the carcass of the Kraken, the beast having been killed by Jones on Beckett's orders, where Jack realizes just how serious the threat to piracy's existence truly is. Further in, they are ambushed by Cao Feng, who reveals his secret agreement with Will. However, he betrays Will, having made another deal with Cutler Beckett to hand over the crew and keep the Black Pearl. The Endeavour arrives, and Sparrow is taken aboard, although he refuses to divulge to Beckett where the Brethren Court will convene. Instead, Jack manufactures a deal to lead Beckett to where the pirates will convene and lure them out for Beckett to destroy, in exchange for Beckett protecting him from Jones. When Feng is double-crossed by Beckett, Feng bargains with Barbossa to release the pearl. In exchange for Elizabeth, who he believes is Calypso trapped in human form. Feng attacks the Endeavour, allowing Jack to escape. Aboard his warship, the Empress, Feng tells Elizabeth that the First Brethren Court trapped Calypso into human form so men could rule the seas. Davy Jones attacks Feng's ship. The mortally wounded Feng appoints Elizabeth as the new captain and the pirate lord of the South China Sea. She and the crew are then imprisoned in the Flying Dutchman's brig. Also aboard is Admiral James Norrington Jack Davenport, who frees Elizabeth and her crew after regretting his prior actions. They escape to their ship, although Norrington is killed by Will's deranged father, Bootstrap Bill Stellan Skarsgård. After discovering Norrington aiding Elizabeth and her crew's escape, Will leaves a trail of floating corpses for Beckett's ship to follow. Jack catches Will and gives him his magical compass so Beckett can find Shipwreck Cove. Jack then tosses him overboard, but Will is rescued by Beckett's ship. And it is revealed that Davy Jones masterminded Calypso's imprisonment by the first pirate lords. At Shipwreck Island, the 9 pirate lords introduce themselves and present the 9 pieces of 8. When they are told the reason of the meeting, they disagree over freeing Calypso. Barbossa calls upon Captain Teague Sparrow Keith Richards, keeper of the Pirata Codex, and Jack's father to confirm that only a pirate king can declare war. Elizabeth, newly ordained pirate lord of the South China Sea, is elected pirate king after Sparrow's vote for her breaks a stalemate. Each pirate lord only voted for themselves. She orders the pirates to go to war against Beckett. During a parley with Beckett and Jones, Elizabeth and Barbossa swap Sparrow for Will. Barbossa tricks the other pirate lords into yielding their pieces of 8 rank insignia, which he needs to free Calypso, who is bound in human form as Tia Dalma. As Barbossa releases her in a ritual, Will discloses that it was Davy Jones, her lover, who betrayed her to the Brethren Court. Her fury unleashes a violent maelstrom just as the Navy's massive fleet appears on the horizon. During the battle, Sparrow escapes the Flying Dutchman's brig and steals the dead man's chest. Meanwhile, Davy Jones kills Mercer and obtains the key to the chest, which Jack then steals from Jones during a duel. The Black Pearl and the Flying Dutchman face off near the center of the massive maelstrom. Will proposes to Elizabeth, and Captain Barbossa marries them in the midst of battle. Will boards the Flying Dutchman to retrieve the chest but is mortally wounded by Davy Jones. As Bootstrap Bill attacks Jones, Sparrow, who wanted the heart for his own immortality, places his broken saber in Will's hand and helps him stab Jones' heart, killing Jones. Jack and Elizabeth escape the Flying Dutchman as the crew carve out the dead Will's heart and places it into the dead man's chest. The ship disappears into the whirlpool. Beckett, never intending to honor his agreement with Jack, moves to attack the Black Pearl. The Dutchman suddenly resurfaces from the depths, with Will as the captain and the crewmen now human. Will and Sparrow aim the Flying Dutchman and the Black Pearl at the Endeavour, destroying it and killing Beckett. The Armada retreats in disarray. Although Will has been saved and the Dutchman crew has regained their humanity, he is bound to sail the sea as the Dutchman's captain. Will and Elizabeth have one day together where they consummate their marriage on an island. Will departs at sunset, but first gives Elizabeth the dead man's chest for safekeeping. Shortly after, Barbossa again commandeers the Black Pearl, stranding Jack and Gibbs in Tortuga. Having anticipated Barbossa's deception, however, Sparrow has already removed the map's middle that leads to the Fountain of Youth. In a post-credits scene set 10 years later, Elizabeth and her and Will's 9-year-old son stand atop a sea cliff. A green flash fills the sky. The Flying Dutchman appears on the horizon with Will Turner aboard, sailing towards his family. The Pirates of the Caribbean movie serials is probably one I'll never grow tired of. The characters are fun and great, always adventurous and spectacular to watch. It's really too bad that this time they felt the need to make things even bigger, more complex and conclusive than the previous two movies. Really not needed. In my opinion, the first movie, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, is still the best because of the reason that it's simple, fun and choices to be purely entertaining. They already went wrong with this approach during the second movie, Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Chest, when they put in more new characters and different hard-to-follow plotlines. Pirates of the Caribbean, at World's End goes on in the same trend as the previous movie. There are more new characters and as far as the new many plotlines are concerned, well, let me just say that after a while I just gave up trying to understand the movie and just let the movie take me away with its visuals, humor and other entertaining elements. And this movie regardless should really be able to take you away on a roller coaster ride of pure entertainment. No doubt in my mind that this movie could have become the best one out of the series. It had all the potential and budget for that. Now if they had only cut down about half of the script, most of the plot lines seem redundant and are actually far from believable, because they contradict from what happened in the first two movies. The many betrayals among characters and side-picking became really confusing after a while, till it reached a point when you just didn't know who was fighting for what. But like I said before, after a while you just stop caring about it and simply enjoy the movie for what it brings you. It all is also the reason why the movie is now nearly 3 hours long. Now, the movie is not as good and entertaining as the first, but maybe just slightly better than the second one, because of the large scale of this movie. The movie is definitely big. There is no lack of action as some people claim there is. There is just as much action as there is in the first two movies, only difference this time is that the movie is nearly 3 hours long. And therefore the movie also has some more talking sequences and slower moments in it. The movie is also big with its musical score by Hans Zimmer, and he actually succeeded in composing a new great theme for the movie. In its action moments, the movie gets definitely uplifted by its musical score. The action sequences are definitely well constructed and at times pure eye candy. So are the special effects, although I feel that the second movie was still better on that. It seems like they tried to overdo things this time, and I'm mainly talking about the end battle, when it comes down to its special effects, by putting in some complex shots. No matter how good CGI is these days, you still see that it's CGI. Most roles get extended in this movie. Marty, Tia Dalma and even Jack the Monkey and Cotton's Parrot. But of course the movie still remains the Jack Sparrow show. Really one of the best characters in recent years, all thanks to Johnny Depp, who provide the movie with its biggest laughs and most hilarious absurd moments. He still plays the character as good and fresh as he did for the first time 4 years ago. You can't just ever grow tired of Jack Sparrow. I was also very pleased to see Geoffrey Rush back as Barbossa. His role was bigger, which allowed Geoffrey Rush to shine even more. Bill Nighy was also as good as always as Davy Jones. Orlando Bloom's and Keira Knightley's acting also has really improved over the years.